Merry Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Merry Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, well, the keyboards are crying. Does the guitar start whining? Yep, that's it. It's Thanksgiving in the United States of America. And there are some people who are really upset about that today. And we're going to meet a lot of them. We're going to start off in Bay County. And in Bay County, we're going to have Judge Brantley S. Clark Jr., he of the most coiffed hair, ruling over some people from yesterday in first appearances. Some of them, most of them, not having a very good Thanksgiving. Some of them caught a break. Not a lot, though. Then, after we see those being ruled over by he of the most coiffed hair, we're moving on to Detroit, Michigan. And in Detroit, Michigan, it's going to be Thanksgiving Day. And there's going to be a lot of upset people having a real bad day, stuck like Chuck. And I don't think they're going to be enjoying their lunch quite as much as I enjoyed mine today. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty positive they did. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's all be thankful we are none of these people today. And, Merry Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I really hope everybody has had a great day. And, let's get this thing started, shall we?
Oh, we ready to go? We ready to get started? All right, the interpreter is not going to be on time. He's doing something else somewhere else. So one of the interpreter cases, we'll skip those until Mr. Ricardo comes on. We'll go on the record. It is November 27th. We're at the Bay County. I'm at the Bay County Courthouse first appearance room. My name is Brantley Clark, circuit judge, who's assigned to the Bay County first appearance docket. See, Mr. Pell, Mr. Smith, state your names on the record.
Bob Pell with the state.
Lloyd Griffith, Assistant Public Defender.
All right, Mr. Graff, just state your name. Mr. Graff, just state your name.
Yes, sir. First name Zachary, last name Graff.
Graff, you're before the court today for your first appearance. You've been charged with one count of assault with a deadly weapon. That's a third-degree felony, Florida Department of Corrections, $5,000 fine, and one count of child abuse, which is a third-degree felony, punishment to 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit, and Mr. Graff, I have found there's probable cause for your arrest. Sir, where do you live?
I live here in Bay County.
Are you working?
I'm unemployed at the moment. I was working at Men's Warehouse out in Panama City Beach.
Is there a prior record on Mr. Graff?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Griffith, I've got some information that Mr. Graff maybe need to be examined. I'll set a $2,500 bond on each case. You'd have no contact with the alleged victim in the case. Your next court date is December 16th at 9 o'clock. Good luck to you, sir.
Obligatory Colin pause. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been raided by Colin of the Definitely Not Cromwells. He is the best CourtTube streamer that does not feature a wolf head avatar. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Colin Raiders. Thank you, Colin, for raiding and showing up. And we are currently watching Bay County first appearances from yesterday with he of the most coiffed hair, Judge Brantley S. Clark Jr. Once this is done, we're moving to Detroit to enjoy some actual first appearances from Thanksgiving today. And we are going to be thankful that we are not stuck like these chucks, basically. Yeah, that's where we're going with everything. So, obligatory Colin pause is over. We are moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining. Happy Merry Thanksgiving. Happy Merry Thanksgiving.
So if you'll give us a moment and we'll slide over the Spanish for the next.
Okay, and I'll let y'all know when Mr. Ricardo gets here.
Let the office know about Mr. Graff, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Griffith.
Step in on the X, state your name, sir.
Hayes, which way am I facing?
The TV.
State your name, sir.
Michael Hayes, sir. I should have an attorney, Russ Ramey, representing me on behalf of Mr. Mark, Tom McGuire.
Mr. Hayes, we need an interpreter, so we'll need start with Mr. Hott. We'll have to have Mr. Hayes when the interpreter gets here.
All right, step out to the left. Stay on this side for me. Give me hot, give me hot. Bring the other one too. Step in on the red X for me. Is that the person? State your name.
Christopher Brian Tom.
I thought, oh, Johnson should have been next. Because the judge said, it don't matter, leave it up, leave it up.
All right, Mr. Hott, you're before the court today for your first appearance. You've been charged with 1 count of domestic violence battery. Mr. Gunner, you're not here for Mr. Hott, are you? No. You're not asking the public defender, so I'm not going to appoint the public defender's office. You've been charged with 1 count of domestic violence battery. That's a first-degree misdemeanor, punished with 1 year in the county jail and $1,000 fine. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable cause for your arrest. Mr. Hott, where do you live?
I've been living with my son over Sweetwater Village.
Is there a prior record on Mr. Hott?
Nothing says 6, and that was a DUI and less than 20.
Mr. Hott, I'm going to release you to the pretrial release program. That'll get you out of jail and have to put up a bond. Now, you can't have any contact with the alleged victim in the case. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
You shall not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages while on release. Your next court date is December 2nd, and that will be at 1 o'clock. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Step over to the desk. Next. Step on the red X. There you go.
Sir, state your name.
Calvin Johnson.
What number is Calvin Johnson?
10.
You're before the court today for your first appearance. I am going to appoint the office of public defender to represent you. You've been charged with 1 count of violation of a conditional release. That's a first-degree misdemeanor or a violation of pretrial release and a violation of a no contact. That's a first-degree misdemeanor, punished with 1 year in the county jail and $1,000 fine. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable cause for your arrest. And is Mr. Johnson in custody on another charge?
Yes, sir. Yeah. He's in on 100+ in bonds.
What I'm gonna do is I'm going to set a $1,000 bond on this case. He's had no contact with the alleged victim. The next court date is December 2nd at 1 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Step to your right to the T. Next. Red X, sir. State your name.
Bailey.
Who is this?
Jordan Bailey.
Number 8. Somebody moved him up.
Mr. Daly, you're before the court today for your first appearance. Your attorney, Gunner, place your name on the record.
William Gunner appearing on behalf of George Davis.
Daly, you're before the court today on arrest warrant that Judge Rester has signed for a violation of pretrial release. He's ordered to be held without bond. Leave that as it is. Next court date is December 9 o'clock.
That was December what, sir? It broke up.
December 10th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. Step over to the desk.
Oh.
Step on December 13th.
Mr. What's his name?
Come
Mr.
back
Daly.
over.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Gunner, Mr. Gunner indicated that they had a bond, they had a motion or a motion and a notice of hearing to set bond on December 13th.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a
All
good,
right,
thank
step
you.
over to the desk. Come on in. Step on the red. State your name.
Who is this now?
Say it again.
Ms. Lavelle, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I am going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with one count of trespassing. That's a first-degree misdemeanor, punishment 1 year in the county jail and $1,000 fine. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find there cause for your arrest. Ma'am,
Where do you live?
Where do I live? 107 North Grand Avenue.
and how long have you lived in Bay County?
My whole life.
Is there a prior record on Ms. Lavelle?
Yes, sir. Earlier this year was a trespass FTA. Last year, controlled substance para, a sentence on those, 2 counts battery on a firefighter EMT and 22 with the resisting
That's good.
VOPs.
All right, ma'am, I'm gonna set a $500 bond. Your next court date is December 2nd at 1 o'clock. Good luck.
Step to your right to the desk. Step, Billy, step, next.
I don't think Ms.
Red
Rose
X.
needs a contest order, does she?
State your name, ma'am.
She needs a new contest. All right, Ms. Rhodes, you're before the court today for your first appearance. You've been charged, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you for 1 count of prostitution and 1 count of paraphernalia. Both first degree, offenders plus 1 year in the county jail and $1,000 fine. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find there's probable cause for your arrest. Ma'am, where do you live?
Panama City.
How long have you lived in Bay County?
My whole life.
All right, and are you working?
I do side jobs like, I like, it's got an app on the phone, like displays at liquor stores, that kind of stuff.
Okay, is there a prior record on Ms. Rhodes?
But,
Yes, sir. She's on probation with Judge Dyer.
I'm misdemeanor probation.
What's that case number?
24-3129 MM. And that was another prostitution charge, controlled substance, para, alter, destroy, and it was reduced to 2 counts of para.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to set a $1,000 bond on each for new misdemeanors for a total of $2,000. I'm going to issue a warrant for violation of probation. Should be held without bond on that. Her next court date is December 2nd at 1 o'clock. Good luck, ma'am.
Step over to the desk. Next.
Come on in.
Red X, state your name. State your name.
And
Ms. Grant, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with 1 count of manslaughter. It's a 2nd-degree felony, punishment to 15 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $10,000 fine. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable cause for your arrest. Ma'am, where do you live?
I live here, sir,
How long have you lived in Bay County?
my whole life.
And are you working?
Are you working?
I take care of somebody, sir.
Is there a prior record on this grant?
Yes, sir. I have her on bond in a 23 case for domestic DWLSR 3rd, opium with intent, meth with intent, controlled substance and para.
What's the case number on that?
23-3652 CF.
Set $100,000 bond on the manslaughter. She'll be subject to random UAs. As directed by the court, I am going to issue, or I'm going to revoke her release on her, the charges. She's out on release now, and she'll be held without bond on that. Her next court date will be January 16th at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
Step over to the desk. Next. Red X, ma'am. State your name.
Colleen Burton Williams.
Ms. Williams, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with three third-degree felonies that's responsible for 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections, $5,000 fine, grand theft of a motor vehicle, grand theft, and criminal use of personal identification information. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'm gonna find there's probable cause for your arrest. Ma'am, where do you live?
I just resided to Panama City from Indiana.
All right, and are you working?
No,
Is there a prior record on Ms. Burton Williams?
Let me go back. I have this as an added charge for her. There's a VOP that she's in on earlier this year, illegal use of.
That's fine. I'm gonna set a $5,000 bond on each charge for a total of $15,000. Her next court date's January 16th at 9 o'clock.
Step to your right to the T. I mean, I'm sorry, yeah. Next. Next. Red X, ma'am. State your name.
Amber Kirby.
Ms. Kirby, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been arrested on an outstanding warrant alleging you violated the terms and conditions of your probation. Judge Stevenson's ordered you be held without bond. I'm gonna leave that as it is. Next court date is January 2nd at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
Step over
Thank
to,
you, sir.
yep, step over to the desk. Next.
Say next,
Yes, sir. Red X, please. State your name.
Nichols, Debbie Nichols.
Mr. Nichols, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been arrested on outstanding cases, failure to comply with release conditions. Judge Stevenson, you be held without bond. I'll leave that as it is. Your next court date, January 2nd at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
Yes, Your Honor.
Step over to the desk. Next. Best. State your name for the judge, sir.
Matthew Best.
Best, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. County jail, $1,000 fine. Probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable your arrest. Sir, where do you live?
I live in Gulf County,
Okay, and how long have you lived in Gulf County?
about 4 years now.
Working.
Sir?
Are you working?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Where do you work?
It's at Exxon Express Lane in St. Joe Beach.
All right, is there a prior record on Mr. Best?
He's on bond out of Judge Collier's court for meth, fentanyl, and a DUI.
That's Gulf County.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a case number on that?
24-0151 CF.
All right, I'm going to set a $500 bond, do a misdemeanor for Bay County. His next court date's December 2nd. I'm gonna issue an order of revocation of release for the government case. That'll be without bond for that. Good luck.
He held you without bond. No, hold without bond. He revoked the bond in Gulf County. Next. State your name, sir.
Kermit.
Who is this?
This is number 11. Say it again.
Gomez Kermit.
All right. Mr. Kermit, you're before the court today for your first appearance. You've been charged with one count of petty theft. That's a second degree. 60 days in county jail and a $500 fine. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find there's probable cause for your arrest. Based on your financial affidavit, I cannot appoint the public defender's office. Sir, where do you live?
I live on Resort Beach Road.
All right, and are you employed?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
GCUC.
All right, and is there a prior record on Mr. Gomez?
It's out of Texas, 24 controlled substance and correctional criminal trespass resisting search or transport, 22 assault causing bodily harm, 18 marijuana. It goes back to 2000s in Texas.
I'm gonna recommend a pretrial release program based on the nature of the charge. Sir, your next court date's December 2nd at 1 o'clock.
December 2nd, 1 o'clock. Gotcha.
Yes, sir. Step over to the desk.
Mr. Ricardo is present. If you want to go ahead and call 7 and 14. And Mr. Ricardo, if you'll raise your right hand. Sir, affirm that you'll translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English by the best of your ability.
I do.
All right, sir, state your name.
Carlos Gonzalez.
Carlos Gonzalez.
Mr. Gonzalez, you're before the court today for your appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you at this hearing. You've been charged with 2 counts. Driving while license suspended or revoked. That's a traffic misdemeanor. If it's your first offense, it's punishable to 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. And 1 count of failure to register a motor vehicle, traffic misdemeanor, punishment to 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. I've reviewed the Florida uniform traffic citations. I find there's probable cause for your arrest. Sir, where do you live?
In Panama City.
In Panama City.
How long have you lived in Bay County?
Año 9 meses.
Are you working, sir?
No.
No.
Is there a prior record on Mr. Falcone?
He's on probation out of Dyer's Court for DUI and a DWLSR.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a $500 bond on each new misdemeanors for a total of $1,000. I am going to issue a warrant for a violation of probation. He'll be held without bond on that. His next court date will be December 2nd at 9 o'clock, at December 2nd at 1 o'clock.
No bond.
No tengo fianza por el momento.
So I don't have a bond for now.
No, sir, not on the violation of probation.
Okay, go over there.
Bien, pase por allá.
Come on, Hayes. And here's Hayes back.
All right. Mr. Hayes, you're before the court today for your first appearance. You've been charged with 1 count of aggravated stalking. That's a 3rd-degree felony, plus 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. And Mr. Ramey, you're here for Mr. Hayes, or you're here for the?
I'm here for Mr. Hayes.
Okay.
And Your Honor, is Mr. Hayes for the Spanish interpreter?
Yes, sir. The victim is present, and she only speaks Spanish, or she needs the interpreter. You might
Very
want to
well.
speak up. All right, do you understand, ma'am?
Yes, I understand.
Your Honor, I would ask Your Honor to consider releasing my client on ROR as the affidavit and complaint fails to establish a proper predicate for aggravated stalking under 784.048. The allegations of threats made by Sergeant Turner of the Sheriff's Office relates to threatening to fight the children or the father of her children and to deport someone, but it's not related to her, and also has a statement, general statement that he's threatened her in the past with no specifics or details on that. So that doesn't qualify for stalking as it relates to any events that occurred on the day of question, which is November 26th. In addition, the alleged victim, Miss Shayla Chubb, who's present with us today, does not speak enough English to have a conversation. And there's no allegation from Sergeant Turner's affidavit that he spoke Spanish with her or had a Spanish interpreter available. And Ms. Chubb is here to speak on behalf of the defendant. Would Your Honor allow her to speak at this point?
Yes, you have to just state your name.
Shayla Chu.
Shayla Chud?
You're the alleged victim in the case?
Sí, es lo que dicen que soy la supuesta víctima, pero yo no soy víctima de nada.
Yes, that's what they say, that I'm an alleged victim, but I am not a victim of anything.
Mr. Pell, before she gives a statement, I've reviewed the probable cause. After anything you want to add today?
No, Your Honor. I mean, the affidavit as written, I think, I'm sorry, 1 second, Your Honor. Anyway, as written, of course, given the alleged victim's testimony, it kind of does bring everything into question, Your Honor.
Yeah, if you'd like to make a short statement for the record, I'll allow that.
Ok, yo llamé a la policía porque no estaban muy enojada con él, pero él no estaba amenazando a nadie.
I called the police.
Policía,
I called the police because I was very angry with him, but he wasn't threatening anybody.
That's good.
Muy bien.
I had reviewed the probable cause prior to coming to court. I had questions about the probable cause affidavit when I read it. I'm going to ROR Mr. Hayes. I find the probable cause. The sheriff's officer, I mean, it's the sheriff's office, the state attorney's office, they pursue it, they pursue it.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
You as well, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Jordy.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you for your help. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Your Honor. You too.
Sir, if you'll pull your mic back, we couldn't hear the end when you were speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank-
I already, ROR, found no probable cause.
Yes, sir. Next. Red X, sir. Here you go. Face the TV, state your name. Say your name.
Danielle McGriff.
Mr. McGriff, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with 1 count of domestic violence battery. That's a first-degree misdemeanor, punishment to 1 year in the county jail and $1,000 fine. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable cause for your arrest. Mr. McGriff, where do you live?
I live on Back Beach Road.
Okay, how long have you lived in Bay County?
I've been living in Bay County since March.
Are you working?
Yes, sir. I actually just started a new job at USIC. I start my training Monday morning.
Is there a prior record on Mr. McGriff?
No, sir.
Mr. McGriff, I'm going to recommend you to the pretrial release program. That'll get you out of jail and have to put up a bond. There's some standard conditions you'll have to abide by. The special conditions, you'll have absolutely no contact with the alleged victim in the case. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your next court date is December 2nd at 1 o'clock. Good luck, sir.
What was your question?
Does that mean I leave today?
Yes, you got court Monday.
Court Monday at 1.
Yes. Next. Who's your client?
Mr. Hutto, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with 1 count of failure to register as a sex offender. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable cause for your arrest. That's a 3rd-degree felony, punishment to 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. Is Mr. Hutto on probation?
Yes, sir.
I'm registered, sir.
Sir, ma'am, I'm sorry.
I did register in September, the first part of September, and I do it every 3 months. And I wasn't supposed to go back in until December, first part of December. But
You might want to wait and talk to your public defender about it.
I hadn't talked to anybody.
He's
Well,
telling you
don't.
it's coming. Just wait and talk to him.
Do what?
Just wait to talk to them.
What,
You can
what's that
talk to
case
him in
number, please?
Oh,
private.
16 3136 CF.
What's he on probation, failure to register?
For the original charges itself.
Okay. I'm going to, I am going to set a $5,000 bond, new charge. I'm going to issue a warrant alleging he violated the terms of his probation for the new charge. He'll be held without bond on that. Sir, your next court date is January 16th at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
Next. Davidson. State your name.
Mr. Davidson, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged 2 counts of grand theft. Those are each punishable with 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable cause for your arrest. Sir, where do you live?
I live at 2356 Frankfurt Avenue.
How long have you lived in Bay County?
My whole life.
Are you working?
Well, no, sir, and yes, sir. At the same time, I was in the middle of transgressing from getting my GD and going to work because I was taken off for the time being.
Is there a prior record on Mr. Davidson?
21 unarmed burglary, grand theft ×2, dealing and stolen, and then a juvenile grand theft auto. That's it.
All right, so I'll recommend to the pretrial release program. That'll get you out of jail. We have to put up a bond. There's some standard conditions you'll have to abide by. The special conditions you'll submit to random UAs as directed by the court. Your next court date's January 6th at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
It's up to you, right? Next. Redex, sir. State your name.
William Bryant.
Mr. Bryant, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with 1 count of driving while licensed, suspended or revoked habitual offender. That's a 3rd-degree felony, plus 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. You've been arrested on a outstanding warrant alleging petty theft, 2nd offense, which is a 1st-degree misdemeanor, punishable to 1 year in the county jail and a $1,000 fine. You've also been arrested on an outstanding warrant signed by Judge Grammer, alleging you violated the terms and conditions of your probation. He has set a $1,000 bond on that. You also have a violation of probation from Judge Van's court. He's ordered you be held without bond on that. I'm gonna leave Judge Grammer's and Judge Van's bonds the same. I'm gonna set a $5,000 bond on your driving while license suspended or revoked habitual, $1,000 on the petty theft. Your next court date on the felony is January 6th at 9 o'clock. On the petty theft will be December 2nd at 1 o'clock. And on the VOP for the no valid driver's license will be December 11th at 8:30. And on the domestic violence battery VOP for Judge Van will be December 4th at 1:30. Good luck to you, sir.
Yes. Next. Yes, sir. Redex, state your name.
Mr. Benson, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'm going to appoint the, nope, you're not asking for, no, based on your financial information, I cannot appoint the Office of Public Defender based on your income. You've been arrested on an outstanding warrant from my office alleging you violated the terms and conditions of your probation. I ordered you be held without bond. I'm gonna leave that as it is. Your next date, December 16th. Anna, good luck.
Hey, Judge, I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
If the victim on this case right here comes down to the DA's office and does an affidavit saying that this ain't what happened and is in court with me, will that help the whole case?
I can't give you any legal advice, sir. You need to talk to your lawyer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Step over to the desk. Next. FedEx, sir. Nope, that's yours. State your name.
Terrence Martell Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been arrested on an outstanding warrant out of my office. I've ordered you be held without bond. I'm going to leave that as it is. Your next court date is December 18th at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
Sir, well, can I just say one thing? I have the money to pay, but my probation officer, when I go check in every Friday, and last Friday when I went to check in, he said his boss, his supervisor, whatever, didn't think I'll be able to pay it, but he wanted to come up with a plan, and I told him I'll be able to make everything by the 18th.
We'll have to talk about that in court, sir.
Step over to the desk. Sir, Mr. Harris declined to make your acquaintance today, and that's actually normal for his first day in.
Okay, all right. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and sir, you here for? Okay, well, there was other violations, but he'll set for December 18th, and I've appointed the Office of Public Defender to represent him, okay? All right. For Mr. Harris, I'll set a $500 bond on the two misdemeanors for $1,000. I'll set $5,000 on the new felon. His next court date is December 16th at 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Next. FedEx, sir. Step on the X. Face the TV. State your name.
Hello, my name is Kurt Daly.
Mr. Daly, you're before the court today for your first appearance. Based on your financial affidavit, I cannot appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with one count of no valid driver's license. That's a traffic misdemeanor, punishment to 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. I reviewed the Florida DUI uniform traffic citation. I find there's probable cause for your arrest. Mr. Daly,
where do you live?
I live on Panama City Beach.
How long have you lived in Bay County? How long have you lived in Bay County? Okay.
3 years.
Are you
Yes, I
working?
work at Piggly Wiggly.
Okay. Is there a prior record on Mr. Daly?
Locally, there's another no valid, no further tracking past that.
Mr. Daly, I'll recommend you to the pretrial release program. Your next court date is December 2nd at 9 o'clock. At 1 o'clock at noon.
Go over to the desk. Next. FedEx, sir.
What court date's on this? Okay. All right, sir, state your name.
Clay Guthrie.
Mr. Guthrie, you're before the court today for your first appearance. Are you asking for the public defender today?
Yes, sir.
I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance. Those are each third-degree felonies, punished with 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. 1 count of driving while license suspended or revoked, habitual, third-degree felony, punished with 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. And 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, which is a first-degree misdemeanor, punished with 1 year in the county jail and a $1,000 fine. And I'll find probable cause for your arrest. Mr. Guthrie, where do you live?
I live in Springfield, sir.
How long have you lived in Bay County?
My whole life.
And are you employed?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
I work for myself as a carpenter.
And is there a prior record on Mr. Guthrie?
Got him on felony probation and 2 case numbers.
Okay.
Both of them gonna be 23.
Okay.
0072 and 2118.
All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a $5,000 bond on each of the possessions of a controlled substance. A $5,000 bond on the driving while license suspended or revoked habitual. 1,000 on the possession of paraphernalia. I'm gonna issue a warrant alleged to violate the terms and conditions of his probation. He'll be held without bond on that. And sir, they'll send your court date out to the jail.
Step over to the desk. You're held without. Next. Red X, sir. State your name.
I'm George Edwin Hughes.
Mr. Hughes, you're before the court today for your first appearance. And I'm going to defender to represent you. You've been charged with one count of loitering and prowling. Is that a second degree or a first degree misdemeanor?
Second.
I think it's a second.
Second, that's punishment for 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable cause for your arrest. Mr. Hughes, where do you live?
Well, this is it, sir. I just got out of prison. I got my everything, my phone, everything I have is right there. I'm trying to get my life back together, and I got locked up.
Don't talk about
So-
your case. The judge asked you where you live. Talk to your public defender about your case.
I live on 1200. Well,
Let me just do this. I'm gonna set a $500 bond.
so I can't even pay a bond right now.
I understand. Your next court date's December 2nd at 1 o'clock.
Step over to the desk.
All right.
Next.
Oh, that's it too.
Red X, sir. State your name.
My name is Stephon Simmons. Good day. They locked my ass up and steal.
All right, sir, state your name.
Stephon Simmons.
Mr. Simmons, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're before the court today for your first appearance. You've been charged with one count of
Steal everything. Every damn time I get up on
you're before the court today for your first appearance. Yes, you got one count of sale of fentanyl, which is a second degree felony, punishment to 15 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $10,000 fine. One count of possession of fentanyl, which is a third degree felony, punishment to 55 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. One count of unlawful use of communication device to facilitate a felony, which is a third degree felony, punishment to 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections and a $5,000 fine. And one count of possession of drug paraphernalia, which is a first degree misdemeanor, punishment for 1 year in the county jail and a $1,000 fine. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I'll find there's probable cause for your arrest. Sir, where do you live?
I live in Tennessee.
How long have you lived in Bay County?
Approximately 5 years now.
Are you working?
Could you repeat that?
Are you working?
Yes, sir, I am.
Where do you work?
So I work at Jam Up Meat Mart.
Okay. Is there a prior
Yes,
record on Mr. Simmons?
23 cocaine possession, child neglect without harm.
Yes, can I say something?
19 less than 20 tampering evidence, resisting, no valid, reckless.
Your Honor, if I can also add, I received some information that additional charges are about to be pending on this fellow. He's been illegally in the country since 2019. I understand he was caught with a bunch of firearms as well. They haven't come through yet, but I anticipate them coming through tomorrow. I just asked for a high bond, Your Honor.
Can I
Yes, sir.
say something, please? So earlier this year, around January.
Mr. Simmons.
It was the same.
Mr.
Same
Simmons,
thing. So
don't talk about your
they
case
came in my
today.
house.
Wait and talk privately with your public defender about the case, all right?
I prefer to talk to the judge right now, just to let you know, because it's not.
You're not helping. This is recorded and you're not helping.
Okay.
That was an attorney general enough talk.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a $15,000 on the possession of a controlled substance, $15,000 on the unlawful use of a two-way communication device, $1,000 on the possession of paraphernalia, $100,000 on the sale of a controlled substance. Mr. Simmons, Mr. Pell has indicated that other charges pending. So if you make bond on these and you're rearrested, you could be arrested and another bond set. Yes, sir.
So, honestly, sir, this January it was the same thing. They came to my house and tried to charge me for possession that was actually not any drug. So, they said that they had stopped me on 15th Street last night, but the police actually came to my house and bombarded me at my house.
All right,
I have it on camera.
I've already made a decision on your bond, so that's something you have to discuss later on. Good luck to you. And they'll send out, they'll send out.
Better bond for me, sir?
Sir?
Is there a possibility I could have a lower bond?
No, sir.
What was the court date, sir?
We don't have one yet. They'll send it out to you.
10-4, step over. Next.
You can sign right here.
Red X, sir? Yes, sir. State your name.
Mr. Daly, you're before the court today for your first appearance. I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You've been arrested on outstanding cases for failure to appear for an arraignment. You've been ordered to be held without bond. I'm gonna leave that as it is. They'll send out to the jail your next court date. Good luck to you.
Step over to the desk. That's a wrap, sir.
All right, thank y'all for everybody's help today. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
You too, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving. Thank y'all for y'all's help.
All right, kids. We're going to Detroit. We're going to Detroit now. There's no picture here. I'm not prepared. So let's just go to Detroit. That's what we'll do, because I don't know what I'm doing. Wayne County.
Council Rab.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, by the way, kids, this is actually today's docket. What you're about to see are all people who were present for first appearances on Thanksgiving Day 2024 in Detroit, Michigan.
Council, are you ready to do Taylor at Brownstown?
I'm ready to do Taylor and Brownstown, Your Honor.
Let's be thankful
What
we're
about
none of these people.
Nope, not ready on anything else. Just a heads up, Mr. Ashby is improper.
Okay. Let's go. Ashby, Gregory Ashby.
Judge, this is Mr. Mattis in front of us right now. We can maybe do him first and then Ashby next.
Okay, only because it has Ashby first. Then let's do Mattis or Haddis. Don't know, because it's both names. Okay,
It's an alias.
the gentleman, can you hear me, sir? Yes, sir, what's your full name?
You might have to talk, speak up.
Ian Michael Haddis. Thank you. Ian Michael Haddis, sir. I'm Magistrate Chartea. You're here on a criminal matter. Case number is 8224-7253-4401. You have an attorney. Go ahead, counsel.
Ryan Murad, P83665. On behalf of Mr. Ian Haddis, we waive the reading. Mr. Haddis stands mute. He's been advised of his constitutional rights.
Thank you. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 9, 2024, probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, December 16, 2024, both matters, 9 o'clock at the Taylor District Courthouse. Mr. Haddis, I also have you known as Ian Michael Mattis, also as Ian Michael Fought. Do you understand those court dates, sir?
Can you say it one more time?
9 o'clock, December 9th and December 16th.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sir, there are some bond conditions. You're not to possess any flammable liquids. You are not to go back to, I believe, 7555 Telegraph. I believe that is the Walmart in Taylor. You understand those bond conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's see, we have Detective Chamberlain.
Yeah.
All right, can you tell me history, pending cases, assaultive cases in reference to Mr. Mattis or Hattis?
Mr. Hattis does have a couple previous felony cases, one currently going through the Third Circuit, but that was all.
What was through the third circuit?
I can't remember right off hand, man. I have my paperwork upstairs.
Larceny from a motor vehicle, 2011.
I believe so, ma'am.
Was there anything else?
No.
Okay. How was he once after he had made contact with the police?
From what I understand, he was completely fine, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, defense counsel. Marat.
Judge, I'm asking for personal bond and no contact for those reasons. Looks like his only prior that I'm aware of is from 2011. It's non-assaultive. Indicates that he's not on any bond, probation, or parole. I don't believe he has an income or can afford to post a bond. For those reasons, I'd ask for personal bond and for you to continue that no contact with Walmart.
Okay. There is some statements that is concerning to the court, reading the allegations in the investigator's report. Quote, I burned it. Motherfucker, there is a dead body in there and I will kill all of you. There is a dead body in the car, and if you try to stop me, I will kill you. That's what's concerning to the court. Not sure who he's making those statements to. Detective Chamberlain, were there any alcohol, narcotics involved?
Not that we're aware of, ma'am.
Okay. Is there any issue of mental health? Detective Chamberlain?
None on paper. When I asked him for the court paperwork, he stated no, but I believe there might be a little bit.
Allegedly, police found a handwritten checklist with the words assassination and arson. Councilor Murat, anything else you wanted to add?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. In this particular matter, the court is concerned with Mr. Hattis being a danger to the community. Well, seeing is that how he appears to be cooperative with the police. The court is at a standstill. It's on the fence. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give him a $50,000 personal bond, but I'm going to place him on a GPS tether, house arrest. That's in regards to Mr. Hattis.
Judge, I definitely would take that bond over a cash bond any day. I did talk to Mr. Hattis. There may be some homelessness. I'm not aware if he has an address to tether to, but nonetheless, if it's between that and the cash bond, I'd ask you to continue that. But I'd ask you to rethink GPS tether just for that reason.
Okay. Well, the court is considering doing a cash bond, but I figure a personal bond with a GPS tether, we can keep track of Mr. Hattis because I am still concerned with the community with those alleged statements being made. So that concludes Mr. Hattis's arraignment.
Mr. Ashby? Sir, the judge would like to speak with you, okay?
Mr. Ashby?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me, sir? Okay, Mr. Ashby, it's my understanding that you choose to represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have that right, sir, but you also have the right to have an attorney.
Read it.
Again, I says you have the right to represent yourself, but you also have the right to have an attorney. The court would urge you to consider having an attorney represent you for the arraignment.
Yeah, I would like that.
Pardon me? Mr. Ashby, do you want a lawyer to talk to you or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't need
Counsel?
to talk to me.
Pardon me, sir?
I know the law, ma'am. I am a sovereign.
Want a lawyer? Sir, can you stand up so I can
political
see you? Okay, sir, do you want a lawyer to represent you or not? Mr. Ashby, do you want a lawyer?
Not through the Wayne County Court, no.
Let me ask you this again, because there's a little bit interference. Do you want a lawyer to represent you? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put you in a breakout room so you can talk to the attorney.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
They say an attorney has his man for a client, has a fool for a client.
Okay, sir, you don't need to say anything.
Oh, sorry, Your Honor.
Go ahead. All right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy, ma'am. Happy Thanksgiving to you also. All right. Mr. Ashby, say your full name, sir.
Gregory Mark Ashby II.
Thank you, Mr. Ashby. I'm Magistrate at Judge Thayer. You're here on a criminal matter. Case number is 822472529701, sir. You have an attorney. Go ahead, counsel.
Ryan Murad, PA 3665, on behalf of Mr. Gregory Ashby. We waive the reading. Mr. Ashby stands mute. He's been advised of his rights.
Thank you. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 9, 2024, probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, December 16, 2024, both matters at the Taylor District Courthouse. Do you understand those court dates, Mr. Ashby?
Can I have them read aloud so I can understand them, please?
December 9th and December 16th.
2024. 9th and the 16th.
Both of them,
this year.
the 9th and the 16th. Yes, sir. All right. Mr. Ashby, you have some bond conditions. You're not to have contact with a Jarrell Farley. Jarrell Farley, that means no person-to-person contact, no contact to third parties, no phone calls, no emails, no text messaging. You're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons, and there is no assaultive or combative behavior while this case is pending. Do you understand those bond conditions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Detective Oliver.
Yes, Your Honor.
Give me any assaultive history or convictions pending cases.
He has prior convictions for domestic violence. I believe either one or two of them have been pled down to misdemeanors. Mr. Ashby, prior to this incident, was in our custody and was released from custody from a personal bond from our district court judge, and then exited our police station and committed this second offense. Mr. Ashby, history of not.
Detective?
Yes.
That detective, what was he released on, the personal bond? What was the underlying charge?
He was creating a disturbance in a gas station, wearing body armor and having a knife on his person. He was subsequently arrested for outstanding warrants.
Okay. And these domestic violence, are they convictions?
Yes.
How old?
I do not know the exact year, Your Honor.
Are they out of Taylor?
No.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Ashby, please don't say anything. Don't say anything. That's why you have an attorney to represent you. Do you understand that? Do you understand what I've told you? A yes or a no? Mr. Ashby, it's not that hard. I told you not to say anything. Do you understand that? You can shake your head, Mr. Ashby. Okay, and I say that because anything you say, it can be used against you. That's why you have a lawyer to represent you. Do you understand that? Okay, Detective Oliver.
Yes, Your Honor.
When he was released and given personal bond, the underlying charges, misdemeanor or felony?
Misdemeanor.
Okay. Council Murad, go ahead, Esteban, please.
Judge, I'm asking you to consider releasing Mr. Ashby today, maybe on a personal bond or GPS tether. I would advise that Mr. Ashby is 37 years old. I didn't hear any felony history. I don't see anything used to habitualize him on this warrant. He indicates that he does receive government assistance as a sole means of income. I know that he can't post a bond. There are definitely, I think, going to be some competency issues moving forward with regard to criminal responsibility. I do think that eventually, an evaluation should take place for Mr. Ashby, but given the absence of any sort of violent felony history, I do acknowledge the DV conviction. But in the absence of violent felony history, I don't have a police report here. I know what the charge is, but I would still ask the court to consider releasing Mr. Ashby on a personal bond so he doesn't have to go to jail, or at the minimum, tethering him to the Christian Guidance Center. That way, he would have somewhere to be that's not the Wayne County Jail, Your Honor, if the court's not inclined to just release him.
Talk to your client right now because he wants to say something.
So, Mr. Ashby, everything we're saying here is recorded, and it could always be used against you. It's always our recommendation for you not to say anything, but you do have the right to make any statement you'd like. We just would caution you against it, okay?
Hold on for a moment. It's an emergency.
Not a female, sir. I guess.
What you can do noon, that's fine. Okay.
Can't get.
No, just turn it on at 2 o'clock, basically.
I would like to file.
Folks, I apologize. All right, Bert. All right, Mr. Ashby. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You heard what your attorney said, not to say anything. Is that correct? Okay. You understood the court dates and the bond conditions. Is that correct?
Can I get the court date allowed me what's going on here? The 19th.
December 9th. Hey, December 9th and December 16th. Okay. Now, this is what's concerning to the court is that Mr. Ashby, okay, is once he is released outside of the Taylor Police Department, he is accused of committing another offense. And this offense is carjacking, which under court rule 6.106, he can be remanded, no bond.
I would like to file for a motion.
Do not say anything, Mr. Ashby. Okay. Well, the court is not going to do, because the court does believe that there is enough for under the carjacking to be a remand. This court is going to do a monetary bond. And with that monetary bond, he's going to have a GPS tether, house arrest. And he's going to have a bond of $100,000 cash surety. Mr. Ashby, $100,000 cash surety, okay? Whoever your attorney is can approach the judge in Taylor Court about changing your bond amount and your bond conditions. Do you understand that? And it can be done before your court date. Do you understand that also? Okay. Councilman Murad, anything else?
Judge, can we refer him, can we put in the register of actions a competency referral?
No, we can't do this.
Not at the
It has
arraignment
to be at the
stage?
exam. At the not at the arraignment stage, but the exam stage.
I haven't
or
seen it. I
probable
just thought
cause
I'd
hearing
ask.
stage. No
Okay.
problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing further.
That concludes Mr. Ashby's arraignment. Detective Attar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's do Kendrick.
Yes,
Please state your name,
Jasmine Kendrick.
your full name.
Jasmine Denise Kendrick.
Thank you, Ms. Kendrick. I'm Magistrate at Chartea. Your criminal matter case number is 822472534001. You have an attorney. Go ahead, counsel.
Ryan Marat, P83665, on behalf of Ms. Jasmine Kendrick. We waive formal reading. Ms. Kendrick stands mute. She's been advised of her rights.
Thank you. I'm gonna enter plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 10, 2024, probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, December 17, 2024. Both matters 9 o'clock at the Browns Township District Courthouse. Ms. Kendrick, you have some bond conditions. One, you're not to have any contact with a Sullivan Major. That means no person-to-person contact, no contact to third parties, no phone calls, no emails, no text messaging. You are not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons, including knives, pepper sprays, tasers. And you're not to go back to the apartment 303 on Lorraine Boulevard in Browns Township. You understand those bond conditions?
Yes.
Okay, counsel, does she need a police escort?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, I'm gonna give you a one-time opportunity with a police escort to go to the apartment and get some of your belongings. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you. Detective Attar, can you give me a history in reference to any assaultive pending cases, convictions?
Your Honor, defendant Kendrick does not have any prior convictions. In regards to the bond conditions, I'd ask for her to be fitted with a GPS tether based on the defendant and the victim residing together, and this being domestic in nature, and the defendant threatening violence with a knife to the victim to mutilate him. So.
Okay, go ahead. Counsel Marat, go ahead, sir.
Judge, on behalf of Ms. Kendrick, she's 32 years old. She's a life resident. To my knowledge, no prior criminal history, no probation, no parole. She is gainfully employed. She does a great job as a claim analyst for an insurance company. It's at Centene Corporation where she works full time. She has a 13-year-old brother who she's the sole guardian of. He is her dependent. She's receiving government assistance, falling within the guidelines here. She's earned an associate's degree. I do think with the no contact order, the fact that she has an alternative residence, she's going to be staying with her father in Detroit. The fact that she's going to have a police escort, doesn't sound that there's a history here. With these out county cases, Judge, I don't get the police report. So I don't know if there's any alleged injury or not, but based on what I heard, I didn't hear that there was. I would ask the court to consider the fact that, she's already spent the night in jail. She has somewhere else to stay, and she's not somebody who gets into trouble. For those reasons, I'd ask the court for personal bond. I'd ask the court not to impose GPS tether. I don't see a capious history or any reason why she's not going to follow the court's order to have no contact. For those reasons, I'm asking for personal bond, no tether, Judge.
Thank you. Detective Attar, I'm reading the investigator's report that there was some assault in Livonia. Is that a pending case?
Yes, Your Honor. The victim filed a report there. I'm not aware of the status of that one at this time.
Okay. So a report was filed about assault, and is the complainant the same complainant in the Livonia matter?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know whether or not it's been signed by a judge or a magistrate?
I do not know that.
Okay.
Judge, I can tell you in a moment if you'd like.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, I run the name Jasmine Kendrick in the 16th Circuit Court. There is no charges, nothing open, nothing pending, nothing closed, nothing disposed. All I'm looking at is the Livonia District Court Register of Actions. But I can definitely confirm that there's no issued warrant in the city of Livonia against Ms. Jasmine Kendrick.
Okay, well, what I'm reading is it's a Livonia Police Department report 24-55261, in which supposedly Ms. Kendrick assaulted the complainant while he was at work, allegedly that she damaged his vehicle, threatened him with violence, broke items in their apartment, and that's basically a police report was made with the Livonia Police Department.
Does
It
that have a
doesn't say
date? Does it have a date, Judge?
No. Oh, wait a minute. It says that this was done a few hours in Livonia at the complaints place of work. So a few hours before this incident.
Understood, Your Honor.
So whether or not that goes forward, but there is allegedly in statements that allegedly that the complaint made from the investigative report using clear and convincing evidence standard is that go near my stuff and I'll stab you. Allegedly, she had a knife, raised it as into a stabbing motion, a stabbing position.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. Can I ask you a couple of questions based on your reading, just because I don't get the report?
Yes, sir.
Was there any alleged injury?
There's no alleged injury in the report.
No, I don't see anything in the investigator's report.
And my only other question would be, Judge, is there anything in the report corroborating the ex-boyfriend's statement here? Or is it just is this a he said, she said sort of case?
Maybe a he said, she said kind of case. However, there are some text messages.
Understood.
And
I
that,
don't have.
and that there was supposedly a text message threatening to damage the complainant's property and said, basically have a bullet with your name on it.
Understood.
Court takes threats very seriously.
Any firearms recovered, anything like that, Judge?
Firearms were recovered.
All right. Those were my only questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Detective Attar, what was your recommendation?
I would request that she be fitted with a tether, based on the text messages, hers threatening to cut the victim's tongue out.
Okay. GPS tether, that's what you wanted, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so for Ms. Kendrick, just listening to that, but court did review the allegations in the investigative report. There is going to be a GPS tether. And Council Moran, you said she works?
She works full-time, yes, at Centene Corporation.
Gonna have a GPS tether, work only. She's gonna have, I'm gonna give her $100,000 personal bond. Because one, I don't know if that Livonia, if that other matter is even going to pan out, but just based on the allegations in the investigative report in this matter, okay, this court does find Ms. Kendrick is a danger, but I'm willing to give her a chance by giving a personal bond, but with a GPS tether, work only matter.
Fair enough, Judge. Could I just ask regarding the work only, because she's the guardian of that 13-year-old brother, I know that she's probably the person who's taking him wherever he needs to go. I think this is more so an exclusion case where you just want to make sure they stay away. And we just maybe not do the work only, do the GPS tether with the condition that obviously she's not to go anywhere near that residence without a police escort or that gentleman, well, or that complainant's place of business.
Okay, I'll place her on just a regular GPS tether, okay, but she'll be outfitted. Okay, she can go about her business with the GPS tether, but if there's any other violations, then of course Ms. Kendrick realizes any violations, definitely she'll be violated, and then she will be looking at a monetary bond.
Thank you. And Judge, I'm sorry, my last request, and then I'm done. Just given the holiday with that guardian she has, would the court allow her to be released today and have the tether on
No.
by tomorrow? Got it.
No,
I thought I'd ask. No worries, Judge. Thank you.
no problem. No, thank you. Ms. Kendrick, you realize, even if the complaint wants to talk to you, ma'am, you're under court order not to. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, that concludes your arraignment, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's do Brown's Township. Brown's Township,
Yes,
this magistrate Chartea, do you have a Mr. Fennick?
yes, this is Connor Fenwick, the defendant, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Fennick, please say your full name.
Connor Dennis Fenwick.
Sir, you here on a criminal matter. Case number is 8224-7253-7101. You have an attorney, go ahead, counsel.
Brad Marad, P83665. On behalf of Mr. Fenwick, we waive the formal reading. Mr. Fenwick stands mute. He's been advised of his rights.
Thank you. I'm gonna enter a plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 10, 2024, probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, December 17, 2024, both matters 9 o'clock at the Browns Township District Courthouse. Understand those court dates, sir?
Yes, ma'am. But at the end of this, am I gonna get a sheet where it's gonna state all those dates?
Yeah. One of the officers should give you those dates. Okay.
Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Nope, no problem. Also, sir, while this case is pending, you're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons. You understand that?
Yep. I completely understand that.
Okay. All right, let's see. Detective Morrison?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, give me a history on Mr. Fenwick.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was that?
Give me a history on Mr. Fenwick.
A history?
Yes, criminal history. Does he have any prior convictions? Does he have any
No
pending
felon-
cases?
No felony convictions, Your Honor. The only pending case that I'm aware of is there's an investigation with Wyandotte currently, but no charges have been issued on that to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. Council Marat, go ahead.
Judge, I'm asking for a personal bond. Looks like it's a 1-count CCW charge, no assault of history that I'm aware of on behalf of Mr. Fenwick. He owns a car detailing business, but he does meet the poverty guidelines. He's a single father of an 8-year-old child who he lives with along with his parents. For all those reasons and a lack of capious history, I'd ask for a personal bond.
Sir, you're gonna get a $10,000 personal bond. Nobody has to pay any money for you to get out of jail. Any violations, not going to court. Next time, it's gonna be a monetary bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay, that concludes your arraignment. Good luck.
There's one thing I'd like to say to all of you. Happy Thanksgiving and have a Merry Christmas to all.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, sir. Take care.
You're welcome.
Take care. Let's do Livonia.
Let's do
And
it.
after that, then you can go out in a breakout room.
Perfect.
Livonia,
Yes, we can hear you.
you have Early and McGowan.
Yes, we do.
Please bring them. You can bring them.
So do you want to do it together?
At the same time, or do you want them individually?
Yes, same time.
Okay.
Council Marad, what did you want to say?
Nothing, Judge.
Thank you.
You're gonna do both of these at the same time.
Thank you. The gentleman with the hoodie, please say your full name, sir. The gentleman with the hoodie. I'm sorry if you said it, it didn't come through. Well, I guess maybe you both have hoodies. With the green hoodie and the Michigan on the hoodie. What's your name?
McGowan. Marcel McGowan.
Is it Marcel Tyreek McGowan?
It's Marcel Tariq McGowan.
Thank you, Mr. McGowan. This is magistrate, and you're a defendant too in this case. And the gentleman to your left, are you Tyrone Lamar Early?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you are defendant one in this case. Case number is 8224725345. You both have an attorney. Go ahead, counsel.
Ryan Marashi, 3665, on behalf of both Mr. Marcel McGowan as well as Mr. Tyrone Early, for both individuals who waived the reading stand mute. They've both been advised of their rights.
Thank you. I'm gonna enter plea of not guilty. Court dates for both of you gentlemen, December 5th, 2024. Probable cause conference followed by preliminary examination, December 12th, 2024. Mr. McGowan, do you understand the court dates?
I was gonna say I had a court date.
Again, for both of you, December 5th, 2024, probable cause conference, December 12th, preliminary examination. Both matters at 9 o'clock at the Livonia District Courthouse. Understand the court dates, Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Understand the court dates, Mr. Early?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, both of you gentlemen, you're not to go back to the store that is on 13,000 Middlebelt, City of Livonia. You understand that, Mr. McGowan?
Yes, ma'am.
Understand that, Mr. Early?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Detective Allen, give me history in reference to Mr. Early, defendant one. Criminal history.
Detective Allen is not here.
Okay. So give me some criminal history that you have in reference to Mr. Early.
Are you talking
You have
active
anything?
warrants? We don't have a criminal history with us. I believe
Don't have a-
Detective Allen called in and testified earlier, but he's not with us right now.
Well, he just gave me for probable cause. Okay. I do know that there were some other matters in reference to other police. Okay. About retail fraud, but I don't know if there are pending cases or not. Anything else, officer?
There are some active warrants. Let's see. For Mr. Early, there's a. Did you
I'm
want me
gonna
to
be
read them
asking
off?
for
to you?
non-traffic. Non-traffic.
Okay. Dearborn, there's a fraud warrant. It looks like it's all traffic for Mr. Early, other than that one fraud warrant. Then for Mr. McGowan, it's a retail fraud out of Canton. And the rest is traffic for him as well.
Okay. Are there any convictions for, and Mr. McGowan in reference to robbery or homicide, CCW?
I don't have any of that information with me.
Okay. All right. All right, counsel, go ahead, Esteban, please.
Judge, on behalf of Mr. Early, he is 34 years old, a life resident. He has a job where he's working full-time at Evolution Gaming. Your Honor, he's completed some college, no assaultive criminal history. He lives with his wife and their 3 children, was hoping to get home today for Thanksgiving with his family. On behalf of Mr. McGowan, he's 24 years old, Judge. He indicates he doesn't have any priors on his record. He indicates that he's gainfully employed at Ford Field 5 days a week. His income is above the poverty guidelines, but the judge, it doesn't seem that this is an assaultive matter. It looks like it's a retail fraud case. I think if you run their guidelines, there's a presumption for probation as charged. A lot of times these get reduced to misdemeanors too, if found guilty, and we're a long way from there. At the end of the day, it doesn't seem that they're a flight risk. Doesn't seem that they're a danger to the community. For those reasons, I think the no contact with Meyer is appropriate. But I don't see a need to do anything different than a personal bond and give them their court dates, Judge.
Thank you. Court's heard the representations in this particular matter. Court's also read the allegations in the investigative report. The charges are non-assaultive. Not only that, but it appears that at least some of the defendants, at least these 2, they were taken into custody. Mr. Early was taken into custody without incident. Let's see about Mr. McGowan. He was booked, transported and booked without incident. While there's issues that say in reference to these gentlemen, let's see, where was it? Supposedly, both defendants are suspects in prior retail frauds in Livonia. Mr. McGowan, supposedly there's a CCH for CCW, robbery, homicide. However, that has not been established. So both of them are going to get $25,000 personal bond. That means nobody has to pay any money for you to get out of jail, gentlemen. However, if you violate, don't go to court when you're supposed to, then you will be looking at monetary bonds. Understand that, Mr. Early?
Yes, ma'am.
Understand that, Mr. McGowan?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that concludes your arraignments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Murad, I'm gonna put you in the breakout room with Van Buren.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm still on the camera here. Stay right there. Come.
Eric, Nava Medina.
Señor, espérate. We can do Mr. Nava Medina since we have retained counsel, Nassar. All right. Then whatever I say in Spanish, please say it in English. Whatever I say in English, please say it in Spanish. Sir, please state your full name.
Eric Eduardo Nava Medina.
Eric Eduardo Nava Medina.
Mr. Nava Medina, this is Magistrate Echartea. You have a case number of 240-460-3201. You have an attorney?
¿Usted tiene un abogado?
Go ahead, counsel.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor, and to your staff. Good afternoon, Your Honor, and to your staff. May it please this most honorable court, Mohammed Nasser, P74485, appearing on behalf of Eric Nava Medina, who appears via the hospital, who's already identified himself for the record. Your Honor, defendant would waive the formal reading, stand mute, humbly request the court to enter a not guilty plea on his behalf.
Would enter a plea of not guilty? Sir, your court date is December 11th, 2024. Pre-trial in front of Judge Austin Garrett. Sir, you have some bond conditions. You're not to have any contact with Maria Nava. That means no person-to-person contact, no contact to third parties, no phone calls, no emails, no text messaging. You're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons. Also, sir, you're not to go back to the Evans residence. Counsel Coyle, go ahead, Esteban.
Judge, he is 35 years of age.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor, and Mr. Nasser. Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people. Your Honor, the people are requesting a $25,000 cash surety, tether house arrest, no contact. I do note this allegedly occurred October 21st of this year. But there was a note, there was a note in the APA file that said, that was dated today, that the complaining witness is in fear for her safety, and that he had pushed her and would kill her. And there was an extensive history of domestic violence between them, according to the complainant and Cindy. It appears that there's an active PPO. I don't know if that is Cindy or the complainant, or if that is actually factual. Your Honor, I also see this as a danger to the complainant. Her child was present, as well as a 17-year-old son.
Go ahead, counsel. Nasser.
Thank you.
Abogado Nasser, adelante, por favor.
Judge, my client is 35 years of age, no prior criminal convictions, and resides at a separate address in the city of Detroit with his mother. And while I can certainly appreciate the argument by fine sister counsel, this matter is dated about a month, and clearly my client is ostensibly injured and presents no issue to anybody at this point. Judge, I would ask for a personal bond. 100%, we have no issue with the no contact order. And as it relates to the GPS tether and house arrest provision, I would ask the court not to impose those conditions based upon his medical condition. Okay, and if there's any issue that pops up now and between the court date between Judge Garrett, certainly the prosecution can address a tether issue at that point. My client does have retained counsel. And certainly we have advised not only the client, but the family, mom specifically, that he can have no contact. And that is the predicate of us being retained. Thank you, Judge.
Counsel heard the representations, both sides. Counsel read the allegations in the investigator's report. Counsel Nassar, does your client work?
Yes, Judge, he was working, but based upon his medical condition, he'll be off.
All right. Well, DDC, can you mark Mr. Nava Medina's file medical? Court is concerned for the safety of the complainant. Okay, this occurred in October of this year. That there's information from the prosecutor's office that the complainant is in fear of her life of the defendant. Okay, and so that information was updated and conveyed to Counsel Coyle today. So in this particular matter, court is going to adopt the recommendation. $25,000 cash surety. With a GPS tether house arrest. Okay. There's a bond redetermination scheduled for December 2nd, which is Monday. 9 o'clock in front of Judge McConicle or Judge Williams, who will look at the bond amount and bond conditions. Counsel Coyle, anything else?
No, thank you.
No,
Counsel
gracias.
Nassar, anything else?
I would just ask this court.
¿Alguna otra cosa?
I would just ask this court to consider a 10% provision based upon his medical, Judge.
Counsel, that court did consider it from a personal bond to a 10% bond to cash surety bond. It's going to stay the same.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Gracias, señoría.
Yeah.
Happy holidays, Judge.
DDC, thank you, you too. DDC, stand by. DDC, we're done with Mr. Nava Medina. You can be excused. Thank you, Madam Hernandez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. God bless.
Thank you.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Van Buren?
Yes.
All right. The gentleman, Van Buren, what's your name, sir?
Gene Arnold?
Is it Gene Raymond Arnold, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I'm Magistrate Jeff Day here, criminal matter, case number 8224-723-70501. You have an attorney. And before your attorney gets there, I also have you listed as Jane Ingersoll, Gene Arnold, Raymond James Ford. Go ahead, Counsel Murad.
Murad, P83665, on behalf of Mr. Gene Arnold, we waive the formal reading. Mr. Arnold stands mute. He's been advised of his rights.
Enter plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 11, 2024, probable cause conference followed by preliminary examination, December 18, 2024, 9 o'clock. Both matters at the Van Buren Township District Courthouse. Okay. Mr. Arnold, you have some bond conditions. You are not to go back to the Thornhill Court residence. You're not to have any contact with Aaron Ruppel. That means no person-to-person contact, no contact to third parties, no phone calls, no emails, no text messaging. You're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons. Do you understand those bond conditions, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Detective Gooley?
Officer Gwelly, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sir, can you tell me criminal history in reference to Mr. Arnold, pending cases, assaultive cases?
He only has one case currently through Van Buren Township for larcenies from auto. I know no history of any violence of him.
All right, thank you. Councilor Murad, go ahead, please.
Judge, Mr. Arnold wants you to know that he's 58 years old. He's a life resident in the state. He has a stable residence with his brother. He has 3 children currently in the community. He indicates that he turned himself into the tether unit. He was asked to go to the tether unit, walked into the tether unit, learned of this warrant. So he's been compliant. He's been cooperative throughout this entire process. This was actually dismissed at preliminary exam. It's a reissue. I think there was an issue with their ability to view certain footage. So they have reissued the case. I don't think that there's been any sort of violations of bond. The matter that's pending, I believe there's already a tether requirement. So my ultimate request is for you to release him on personal bond. Again, it seems that he's been compliant with all conditions, seems that this is a reissue. He's been cooperative. He does have the priors that you see on his habitual offenders notice. He indicates that, I mean, we can see that they're all non-assaultive. He's not on probation or parole. He's earned some certified trades, including being a master mechanic. He was previously doing some mechanic and home improvement work, but currently is unemployed. He would ask the court, again, release on personal bond and to continue the conditions already imposed.
Okay. Counsel, why is he on tether?
He's got the larceny from a motor vehicle case in the jurisdiction.
Oakland County?
No, this is the Van Buren.
Okay. So he's got a misdemeanor?
No, I think that's a felony, Judge.
Okay, so that, and Van Buren, Officer Gooley, can you confirm that he surrendered to tether?
Yes, that was what the tether agent explained to me. I'm actually with Belleville, but we're at Van Buren. We used it.
Thank you. All right. In this particular matter, he's going to get a $25,000 personal bond. Sounds like he's taking this case very seriously. That concludes his arraignment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You too. Council Marat,
Yes, Your Honor.
are you ready to do the hospital arraignment?
Yes, Your Honor. He was interviewed. I just have to grab his sheet. Hey, Loretta.
Okay.
Ready, Your Honor.
The gentleman at the hospital, please unmute. A button needs to be hit on the electronic device. Officer, can you unmute?
Yep, there you go.
Thank you. The gentleman, please say your full name, sir.
Gregory Zlotowski.
Yes, Gregory George Leftevsky.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I'm Magistrate Chate, here criminal matter, case number 240-6077-801. Sir, you have an attorney?
I had to pick.
Brad Murat, PA 3665 on behalf of Mr. Gregory Zlotowski. We waive the formal, sorry. We waive the reading stand mute. He's been advised of his rights.
Thank you. I'm gonna enter plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 5th, 2024. Probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, December 12th, 2024. Both matters are in front of Judge Taylor. Sir, while this case is pending, there's no assaultive or combative behavior. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Counsel Coyle, go ahead, Esteban.
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people. Good morning, Mr. Murad, or good afternoon,
morning.
I should say. Your Honor, the people are requesting a 15,000 cash surety, tether house arrest. This is assaultive. The reason being, as for he was a passenger in a car. He refused to exit that car. They saw him telling the driver, "Drive off, bitch, hit the effing gas." He tried to then get into the driver's seat and drive off. So I do note in his past a 2019 R&O, 2008 R&O. This is and also a history of drug offenses as well, felony drug offenses. Your Honor, there was drug paraphernalia in the car. I also note in the IR there says that there's outstanding warrants, a felony bench warrant for R&O out of the 16th Circuit Court Macomb, a bench warrant for assault out of 41B District Court, and warrant for assault out of 42-2 District Court, Your Honor, based on what I see as a pattern of behavior with those R&O convictions. an R&O that there's a bench warrant out for, also a pattern of drug convictions, a high risk flight based on this, Your Honor. So I'm asking for 15,000 cash surety tether house arrest.
Councilor Marad, go ahead.
Judge, Mr. Zlotevsky's 35 years old. He's been in Michigan his whole life. There's the only thing that I guess can be construed as assault is his R&O priors. Other than that, there's no assaultive cases against any civilian complainants that I'm aware of, at least. Judge, he is unable to post a monetary bond. He's not working. He has severe health issues, including organ failure and water retention issues, as well as other infections. That's why he's in the hospital now. It is charged as a 2-year. Obviously, he's being habitualized, so the maximum possible penalties go up. But I don't think that this is a specific case that Mr. Zlotevsky needs to be, held and then really remanded to the Wayne County Jail. Any monetary bond is like a remand to him. He cannot post any money. He's not working, and he is not even sure if he's able to work. But notwithstanding all that, Judge, I'm asking the court for a personal bond. I think the no assaultive behavior conditions should suffice. And if there are outstanding warrants in those jurisdictions, they would have the opportunity to pick him up on it. So I'd ask again, you release him on personal bond, maybe no drugs.
Thank you. Thank you. Court has heard the representations, both sides. Sir, while this case is pending, you're not to possess, purchase, sell, use any illegal controlled substances. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Further, once by hearing the representations from both counsels, using clear and convincing evidence standard, and reading the investigator's report, the allegations in this particular matter is very concerning. And in this particular matter is that while the gentleman was in the rear passenger seat, there was 2 other people that were in the other vehicle. It looks like that he is telling the driver to move. Not only that, but he is trying to get into the front seat or the front area so he can take control of the vehicle, telling and continuing yelling to the driver to take off. The driver did not do so, was compliant to what our officer instructions were. This court does find this gentleman to be a danger. This court is going to adopt the recommendation. I believe it's $15,000 cash surety. I'm not going to put him on a GPS tether, but $15,000 cash surety, that's unaffordable. That means he's going to get a court date for this Monday, December 2nd, 2024, 9 o'clock in front of Judge McConaughey or Judge Williams. We'll look at the bond amount and bond conditions.
Judge, would you consider GPS tether house arrest instead of the unaffordable cash bond?
No.
Please.
Thank you, though. But you asked.
You're going to have another shot in 2 days, sir. You're going to go before the chief judge in 2 days, and they're going to readdress your bond, okay? Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. What's your name, sir?
Nowak.
Nowak, this is Magistrate Echarte. You're here on a criminal matter. Case number is 2405689-501. You have an attorney. Go ahead, counsel.
Ryan Marad, P83665. On behalf of Mr. Jesse Novak, we waive the reading. Mr. Novak stands mute. He's been advised of his rights.
Thank you. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 5th, 2024. Probable cause conference followed by preliminary examination, December 12th, 2024. Both matters are in front of Judge Jefferson. Mr. Nowak, while this case is pending, there is no driving without a valid license. Writing this information on your paperwork. There is no drinking, possessing alcoholic beverages, as well as illegal controlled substances. Do you understand those bond conditions, sir?
I do.
Counsel Coyle, go ahead.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I do not see, I'm not aware of any criminal history for Mr. Nowak. I also do not see a capious history on this case, although it's dated back from October of 20. This warrant wasn't issued until April of this year, but it nevertheless is highly dangerous as to the community, that the complainant was in a wheelchair, and when he was struck by Mr. Nowak, who was using narcotics, he was using fentanyl and a benzo that was found in his blood results, that he came off the roadway and struck the complainant who was on the sidewalk outside of a business. There was also a witness to this. They also found that they found 2 syringes in which after he struck the complainant, which ultimately ended in his death, he went and threw away 2 syringes and some heroin in a cap in the garbage. He does admit to all that, and that he said after he got off work, he shot up on the side of the road, and he think he fell asleep when he was driving. And he was only clean for 2 weeks prior to this. The data recorder box shows no braking, no pedal. So, Your Honor, based on the fact that he was using narcotics, admittedly, that they are in his bloodstream, although it's 4 years old, there is nothing on here to say that he is sober and clean, and that this dissipates any of it as to a danger to the community. So for these reasons, Your Honor, I'm asking for $50,000 cash surety, tether, house arrest, and of course, no driving.
Okay, counsel, do you have anything new?
I do not.
This is from 2020?
I do not. I am not aware of anything.
Thank you, ma'am.
I want you to know,
Go ahead.
I've been contacted by Mr. Nowak's employer as well as his parents. I spoke with his mother and father as well as his employer. He works at Detroit Furnace, was called about this. He actually turned himself in when he was called to cooperate. It seems that the investigator's report indicates that he was cooperating as well. I can tell you that just in talks with his family and employer as an officer of the court, that he has turned his life around. I mean, I'm looking at him now. I can just tell by his skin and by his demeanor. He doesn't give off the impression of somebody who's using or withdrawing at this time. Judge, he's 30 years old, no pending cases. He's not on any probation or parole. He's got a great job at Detroit Furnace. He's a high school graduate. He's earned a certified trade as well. I actually think he's a great candidate for a break here, Judge. I'm ultimately asking you to do a personal bond here. If you want to do a GPS tether to just track him, I wouldn't object to that whatsoever. I would just ask that if that's the route the court's going to go, that it does not interfere with his job. I did talk to his family. They are very nervous about him getting home. We all understand how serious these charges are. It's something that he's taking seriously, his family's taking seriously. And I think by walking himself into the jail today, that shows that this is somebody who's going to see this case through, regardless of which way the hammer bangs. And I can see him nodding and affirming. For all those reasons, Judge, I'm just going to ask you to do a personal bond, no tether. I'd understand if you did, but I think he's a good candidate for it.
Thank you. DDC. DDC? DDC, can you confirm that Mr. Nowak surrendered?
I'm not sure. Yes, Your Honor.
DDC, can you confirm that Mr. Nowak surrendered? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, DDC.
You're holding up a sign that says yes, Judge. If you look at the TV.
Thank you. Court is going to place Mr. Nowak on a GPS tether, work only. He's going to get $100,000 personal bond. I'm glad that he's taken this case very seriously. But to track him, that's what the GPS tether is for, about $100,000 personal bond.
Your Honor, thank you. Would the court be willing to allow him to do private tether company. His family's been in touch with EMS. They report directly with the Wayne County Sheriff. Would the court consider putting in its order that he would be allowed to be released to that private tether company today, as well as the Wayne County Sheriff tether?
I'm sorry, stand by for a moment.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. No. No private tethers.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. But you tried, counsel.
Thank you, Judge. Nothing further.
Thank you. Thank you. That concludes this gentleman, Mr. Nowak's arraignment.
Thank you, Judge.
What's your name again, sir?
John Bird.
Sir, this magistrate Charlea. You're here on a criminal matter. Case number 24060767001, sir. You have an attorney. Go ahead, counsel.
Good afternoon, everybody. Lorena Bejan on behalf of Mr. Birch, who stands mute, understands his rights and waives the formal reading.
I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 5th, 2024, probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, December 12th, 2024. Both matters are in front of Judge Taylor. So while this case is pending, you have some bond conditions. You're not to have any contact with Michael Birch Jr. That means no person-to-person contact, no contact with third parties, no phone calls, no emails, no text messaging. Also, you're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons. Also, you're not to go back to the West Grand Boulevard residence. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Counsel Coyle, go ahead, Esteban, please.
Your Honor, the complaint in this matter is his father, and it has to do with him questioning about his drinking at work. And allegedly, he punched his father in the throat and hit him with a metal chucking bar, and then hit him when he was down on the ground several times, in which the co-workers had to break that up. So for these reasons, Your Honor, the people are asking for a $50,000, 10% with an alcohol tether, Your Honor, with, of course, no contact.
What was the recommendation again?
50,000, 10% alcohol tether.
50,000, 10% alcohol tether. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, I'm gonna ask for personal.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm gonna ask for personal bond for several reasons. There's no images, no video. I don't see any other witnesses listed. These are allegations. My client is presumed innocent, though I understand the nature of the allegations. My client can stay with another family member, so there's no issues of contact. Not aware of any KPS history. He has 2 children. He's been a lifelong resident of Michigan. He does suffer from some mental health issues. So I would ask the court for a personal bond for the reasons stated on the record.
Thank you. Court uses clear and convincing evidence standard when it's entertaining monetary bond. In this particular matter, charge is felonious assault. Read the allegations is that Mr. Nicholas Birch supposedly was drinking on the job. His father questioned him. At some point, there was a physical altercation in this matter, supposedly, allegedly that there were co-workers that had to break up the fight. The complainant was hit a number of times, supposedly. Okay. And so this court is gonna adopt, put an alcohol tether using clear and convincing evidence standard. This court does believe that Mr. Birch is a danger. And I believe, counsel, you indicated, what's that, $50,000, 10%?
50, 10%, yes.
If they were, okay. So we're gonna go with the $50,000, 10%. Okay. We are gonna, bond, there is a bond redetermination, is that correct? I mean, it's unaffordable, counsel?
That's not affordable, Your Honor. I would ask for redetermination.
So that means he's gonna have another court date this Monday, which is December 2nd, 2024, 9 o'clock, in front of Judge McConaughey, Judge Williams. We'll look at the bond amount and bond conditions. That concludes the arraignment of Mr. Birch.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Nicholson, this magistrate in Charter, you're here on a criminal matter. Case number is, let's see, where is it? 240567250, ma'am. You have an attorney. Go ahead, counsel.
Ryan Marad, PA 3665. On behalf of Ms. Jasmine Nicholson, we waive reading. Ms. Nicholson stands mute. She's been advised of her rights.
Thank you. I'm gonna enter plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 5th, 2024, probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, December 12th, 2024. Both matters are in front of Judge Robbins. Ms. Nicholson, you're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
I would also indicate on June 14, 2024, a warrant was issued for Ms. Nicholson. She failed to appear. Bond was set at $1,000, 10%.
Judge, we'd ask that bond continue.
Okay. Is that unaffordable?
No, it's affordable.
You know that for sure, counsel.
Ms. Nicholson, you can pay that $100, right?
You said I can?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so her bond is gonna be $1,000, 10%. Okay, she's got affordable hearing date for tomorrow, which will be in front of me, which will be November 29, 2024, 9 o'clock for the affordable hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
This way, Jack. Have a seat, chair, so you pull down.
Anika Kennedy.
Stand by, Ms. Kennedy. There we go. Ms. Kennedy, this magistrate at Charter, you're here on a criminal matter. Case number 24060777401. Ms. Kennedy, you have an attorney. Go ahead, counsel.
Ryan Marad, PA 3665. On behalf of Ms. Kennedy, we waive the reading. Ms. Kennedy stands mute. She's been advised of her rights.
Thank you. I'm gonna enter a plea of not guilty. Court dates are December 5th, 2024. It is a probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, December 12th, 2024. Both matters are in front of Judge Taylor. Ms. Kennedy, while this case is pending, you're not to have any contact with the complainant. Anne Marie Toussaint, that means no person-to-person contact, no contact with third parties, no phone calls, no emails, no text messaging. You're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons. You understand those bond conditions, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Counsel Coyle, go ahead, please.
Your Honor, I do not see a criminal history for Ms. Kennedy, but this is highly assaultive in the sense that the complaint was over there to get her car repaired, and that it appears that the defendant believed that the complainant was cheating with her boyfriend, Mr. McCord, and so she then pulled out again and threatened to F both of them up. And the complainant says she sees the defendant pointing the gun at Mr. McCord. She turns around and then she's pointing the gun at her. The defendant fled the scene. I do note that this happened on November 3rd. On the 21st, that the complainant makes her written statement to the police. She also is participating in a photo show. She identifies the defendant. And then on the 26th, they do a search warrant execution at the defendant's home, and that they find a pawn ticket and that she pawned one of her weapons. She did at the time possess a CPL. She had 2 guns registered to her, Your Honor. It's very interesting that she went and pawned her weapon after this occurred. So based on the assaultive nature of the crime being a danger not only to Mr. McCord, but to although if he doesn't want to prosecute, Ms. Toussaint does, I'm asking for that $25,000 cash surety, tether, house arrest, no contact.
Hold on for a moment. Yes. Fine. Okay, Council Marad, go ahead, Esteban, please. Sorry for the interruption.
It's okay, Judge. I'm asking the court to consider personal bond in this particular case. Ms. Kennedy's 47 years old. She's had no prior criminal convictions, no pending cases, no probation, no parole. I don't think she's ever been on probation or had any cases. She's gainfully employed at the Greyhound, Your Honor. She is working. She suffers from heart disease, taking some medication that she has not received. Your Honor, she does indicate that she, is maintaining her innocence, is advising that there was never a weapon drawn and complaining witness was, at her car and my client just disputes over drawing a weapon. Obviously, this is another case where there's not independent surveillance. There is Ms. Kennedy who's making a statement, who wants to move forward in prosecution, or I'm sorry, Ms. Toussaint against Ms. Kennedy. And this is going to be a case that there's going to be an exam conducted, and however it resolves. But it looks like it's from November 3rd. It took at least 3 weeks to get signed. I have nothing before me that tells me that there's been any issues between Ms. Kennedy and the complainant in this last month since this alleged date of offense. She's a mother of 5. At least one of her children is a minor. I know that she cares for them. I would ask the court to do a personal bond here with the no contact order. I don't think there's been any contact. I think that these are parties that didn't necessarily have a relationship, at least with the listed complainant and my client. So I don't think that there would ever be a reason for them to come into contact with one another. And I don't think that's happened within the last month since she's been out in public. For all those reasons, I'm asking for personal bond, no contact, maybe even no firearms. I know she's a CPL holder. Tells me that she's passed CPL background checks as well. I'm asking for personal here, no contact, Judge.
Thank you. Court heard the representations, both sides, this particular matter uses clear and convincing evidence standard when it's entertaining a monetary bond. The court is considering a monetary bond, but we are going to place Ms. Kennedy on a GPS tether, work only. Okay. While this allegedly happened November 3rd, reading of the allegations, it does show that the complainant did provide a written statement back in November 21st. And then not only that, it's the same day she did a positive identification in this matter. It also shows that exactly somewhere a warrant was found, a search warrant was done. And they found that allegedly Ms. Kennedy, she pawned that may be the gun in question. But what we're going to do is we're going to give Ms. Kennedy a chance. She's going to get a $50,000 personal bond with a GPS tether.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So your full name? Okay, Carlisle.
Ms. Carlisle, this magistrate at Chartea. Ma'am, you're here on a criminal matter. Case number is 240-6077-101, ma'am. You have an attorney.
Ride Marad, PA 3665. On behalf of Ms. Carlisle, we waive the reading. Ms. Carlisle stands mute. She's been advised of her rights.
I'm going to enter plea of not guilty. Hold on. Court dates are December 5th, 2024, probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination. December 12th, 2024, both matters are in front of Judge Giles. Okay, Ms. Carlisle.
Sorry, Judge, can I get that date one more time?
Sure. December 5th and December 12th, Judge Giles. Ms. Carlisle, you're not having any contact with the Mary Annette Wilson. That means no person-to-person contact, no contact with third parties, no phone calls, no emails, no text messaging. There's no assault or combative behavior on your part, and you're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Counsel Coyle, go ahead, Esteban, please.
Your Honor, the people in this matter, I don't see a criminal history for Ms. Carlisle, but what is concerning to me is not only this happened at her work, and she not only fought with Ms. Wilson, but allegedly resisted arrest. But what is in the IR, which is dated November 20, it says on Wednesday, November 27th at 8:47 this morning, when the officer presented the warrant, they said they got a call from DDC that she was allegedly telling, the complainant to drop charges, I have to go to work. And then she was also heard saying that she was going to beat their ass when she gets out. Highly concerning, Your Honor. So I have no idea, but based not only on the fact that she was fighting allegedly with Ms. Wilson, but also with the officers. For this, Your Honor, I think she poses a danger to the community as well as to Ms. Wilson. So for that, I'm asking for a 10,000, 10% with a tether, no contact.
Thank you. Council Marad, go ahead, please.
Judge, Ms. Carlisle is 29 years old. She's a licensed barber, but her income still has her within the poverty guidelines. She's completed barber school. She currently is homeless, Judge. She has a mailing address, but she doesn't have a stable residence. But she understands that she has to show up to court. The complainant witness is an old coworker. She understands not to have any contact with the complainant. It doesn't appear that there's anything domestic between them. She does take some medicine for high blood pressure. She's received that in the jail. Ultimately, Judge, I think on both of these cases, I've never seen these convictions result in anything but probation. I do think a monetary bond will only increase the time that she's going to spend in the jail, depriving her of her liberty. Because there's no previous history with her and with this complainant or really anybody, I don't see a reason to keep her in the jail. I think 2 days in probably one of the worst places in the world is enough to keep her away from the other party. She understands that obviously since this contact, there hasn't been a no contact order until now, so she wasn't in violation, but she understands now that this court's ordered no contact. So if she contacts Mary Wilson and tells her to drop the case, she's just going to get picked back up and locked up. And I think that's been made very clear on this record. And I think for all those reasons, Judge, it would be appropriate to release Ms. Carlisle on a personal bond. And I know Ms. Coyle will have an APA note of this issue of contact. And if there is any contact by pretrial, her bond will be revoked and she'll go back to jail. I'd ask for a chance on her behalf because there's no criminal or KPS history. And she understands what's at risk here, Judge.
Court heard the representations, both sides, uses clear and convincing evidence standard when it's entertaining a monetary bond. Court read the allegations. And what's concerning is that even though she gets arrested, allegedly she makes a statement or is heard making a statement by phone to drop the charges, that she's got to go to work. Also, part of the statement is she's going to beat their ass when she gets out. That's concerning to the court that Ms. Carlisle is a danger. So court is going to adopt the recommendation, $10,000, 10%. She's going to be placed on a GPS tether, and counsel, she's under house arrest.
Could she work only, Judge?
Pardon me?
Could she do a work only?
She can't go back to the location where the complaint is.
Of course not.
I don't work at that location. I work at a different barber shop.
I'll do all the talking for you, okay, Ms. Carlisle?
Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
I'll let her go. Work only. This is unaffordable, counsel?
Correct, Judge.
Okay, that means, Ms. Carlisle, you're gonna get another court date this Monday, December 2nd, 2024, 9 o'clock in front of Judge McConaughey, Judge Williams, that will look at your bond amount and bond conditions. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
Sure, ma'am, you get another court date this Monday, 9 o'clock. Judge Williams or Judge McConaughey will look at your bond amount and bond conditions. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am. That concludes your agreement.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you. EDC, I believe that's it. Happy Thanksgiving.
I believe that's it, Your Honor. You guys have a great holiday. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Have a nice Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great holiday.
You too.
Well,
That's it, kids. Thanksgiving's almost over. I've had a lot of turkey. I took a break during the middle of all that and went and had a little bit more turkey. Tryptophan's kicking in. I'm getting kind of tired. It's been great hanging out with you guys. Chat's been kicking. Conversations have been great. It's been funny. Funny. Y'all have had me laughing. Thank y'all for coming. Check back in tomorrow. Might have some more to watch. I may actually take tomorrow off and get ready for Saturday, though. I'm not sure. Just keep an eye out. Who knows? I get squirrely, especially on days when I have reasons to be squirrely. Although, I'm more wolfy than squirrely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fabulous. Thank you for coming out. Happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget Saturday for sure at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. You know, I only stream and release videos on days ending in Y, so for everybody here in the USA, happy Thanksgiving. For everybody not in the USA who likes to enjoy a moderate feast on Thanksgiving with those of us in the USA, happy Thanksgiving and merry holidays and all of that fun stuff. No fighting at Walmart tomorrow. Black Friday is a sacred day. And look for deals. Don't let them fool you. I think they're raising prices on some things. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, go have fun. Time to get out of here. I'm gonna go watch a movie or something. Y'all have a good night. I'm your Lomo Fusel, your curator and host. See you next time. I'm out of here. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.